Hello, folks. It's that time of the week again, Wednesday night. You are here. We are back. And you are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for you, the always valued and appreciated listener. And hopefully we've got people dropping into the chat. I'm kind of hitting the ground running tonight. Very, very little sleep. No idle hands here. Always busy. Always keep them guessing. Always something going on. Got Craig M. Stryker in the house. Al Fu from Al's All Metal Detecting. Great group of folks over there. Mr. Bill, Ohio Relic Hunter. Utah Nichols. Bob D. Good grief, Beer Barrel. We've just got quite a number of them coming in, and that's great. It's always good to see. And we appreciate everyone for tuning in. If I've missed a name, apologies. Like I said, I'm just literally wiping the sleep out of my eyes right now. We just about overslept. But hopefully we've got a good show in store, and obviously I am your host, Josh Kimmel, but along with this excursion tonight, we do have the Dirt Bandit himself on board, live and loud. How is it going, Kenny?
Going good, man. Been waiting for this show. I'm reading a lot of the posts about this project. This anytime you can preserve history, and especially organized, that's a great thing.
That's right. That's right. And it really is about the history with this little project that's been going on. I guess to sum it up in a nutshell, it's experience. It's camaraderie amongst hunters. It's not who's the better hunter, who's got the best machine. It's about getting out there and finding that history for a great cause.
Absolutely. Because
really, this is a once in a lifetime experience, so it's great to be a part of it. And speaking of that, for those who saw the promos, the C.W.P.P.O, the Civil War Preservation Project of Ohio. What is this? Just out of nowhere, bam! It shows up. We've been up to something. Listeners last week may have heard reference to a little something going on in the works. Some people, if they followed Facebook, they kind of got the impression, hey, I think there's a little something going on, but what is it? Well, tonight, we've actually got Sam Waters back again and Jeff Fisher, and we can get a little bit of an idea. Obviously, there's probably not going to be a lot of fine detail given out yet, but we can still get a little bit of an idea of what's going on. Not only that, not only will you hear them here tonight, but tomorrow on YouTube, Utah's Family Campfire, you will be able to see and hear them again and follow up with questions maybe if you have some questions from tonight that don't get covered or subjects that are not touched on, certain topics. Check out Utah's Family Campfire on YouTube and you will be able to follow up, because right now it's all about letting people know what is the C.W.P.P.O project. So with that in mind, we should probably get our guests in here, wouldn't you say, Kenny?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Sam, Jeff, how is it going?
How you doing? Hello.
I'm fine.
All right. Well,
great.
It is certainly good to have you back again, Sam. Always a pleasure. For those who may not know Jeff, though, let's catch the listeners up to speed. Jeff, would you like to kind of introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm a LLis user. I've been metal detecting for
probably since I was 18. It's 25, 26 years now. I enjoy history. When I get a chance to get out in the woods, I'm always interested in finding anything that's you can bring out the past. I believe in preservation. I don't want to mark or mar the hobby. I want to be a good example wherever I go, and I like to encourage people to do the right thing when they're out there and fill in your holes, and just make sure you take the time needed to do the job right and preserve the hobby.
Right. Overall, just be a good ambassador and representative of the hobby, a passion for the history, and doing things the right way.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that at all. I do see that we've had a number of others drop into the chat. I've seen Swansea's in the house, Trooper Bry, Diltsy. So Todd Hiltz is in there listening. We've got quite a lineup of listeners. Listen, some good high caliber, good quality hunters. And that's what we have on Beyond Sight and Sound, is just a number of great listeners. So I think what we're going to do is we'll start this out with you two discussing, either you, Sam, or you, Jeff, how this concept of the C.W.P.P.O came to be, how these people have been getting involved, and then we'll even open up the phone lines if anyone has any questions. I believe Kenny may be trying to keep an eye on the chat if we see any pop up through there. That way we can address these.
Yeah, actually I'm still working on that.
Okay.
My laptop's down. I went to a tab now, and it is a Wednesday, so I'm just thankful to be
Wednesday
here.
night curse.
It's all right. I'll get it figured out in a minute.
So if the questions are missed in chat, we will try to address them. If we miss them, apologies, folks. There's always the call-in number, 419-549-5744. And we'll try to address those calls as they come in. We'll try to do everything that we can to explain a little bit of what's going on. And with that in mind, Sam, Jeff, would one of you like to start with what is the C.W.P.P.O?
Sure, I can start that off. It's actually the Civil War Preservation Project of Ohio. Not too many people, even in Ohio, knew that there was a Civil War or battles or anything like that in Ohio. And a lot of it is missed. People of the town do know some stories that happen. A lot of stories are contradicting other stories. We're reading different things. There's even a lot of missing information on the internet. So this actually sparked my interest about 4 years ago. I didn't even know that the Civil War was up this far, and I actually started to drive the trail a little bit, and the only thing that I found out there in this area was one single marker, and it was the last skirmish area between Morgan's men and Union forces, and I was just kind of curious.
When you say drive the trail, you may want to explain to listeners what trail are we speaking of?
Okay. Yeah, they actually had a trail. Morgan's men, they crossed the river. They came, across the river and traveled 1,000 miles up into, I'm going to start with Ohio, because it's actually Paris out there, and then up to West Point. There was a whole 1,000-mile trail that they followed. They actually wanted to cause, a diversion with the Union to kind of get their minds off of their plans and things, but they kept up with them. The particular area that we're in, I had actually contacted the Historical Society to get permission to do about an acre out there that's actually, preserved, and there's the marker, and they were more than happy to let me go out there and check. And along, that area, I did find a rather cool relic. It was actually, I'm sure everybody's heard about this ring that was actually made from a Civil War bullet that was embedded, with rubies. It was gorgeous, and I've held on to that for 4 years. I went back a few times, talked with the owners, and they actually gave me permission on their property which was about 70 acres. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of big. But I started to, kind of go back, and I've only found like maybe a horse pack and things. It's just such a large area. The more I talked to her, she actually expanded my search area to about 450 acres, which was way beyond my comprehension and ability to do myself. During that conversation,
oh, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, it was quite a bit. She had a lot of stories from her grandfather, which was really interesting. So she put me in touch with a woman named Virginia Glenn, who is in charge of a lot of things there with Morgan's Raid and putting on celebrations and things. But she was excited that I was interested in doing this. So I started to contact people. And the more people I contacted, it seemed like the more people that I was going to meet, because it was such a big area. And they're like, yeah, I know this guy is really great. And, oh, I remember him. We could use him. It turned out to be, we have about 120 people attending. Could be a little more. I mean, we actually have about 80 people that's going to be digging, and then we have support groups and things. So the whole purpose for this is to go in, recover these relics, record where they're found, and write a story of exactly what happened on that property. Because the Historical Society has been trying to put markers in for years, but they lack that evidence, those relics. There's nothing in the museum that is actually the Civil War Museum that sits there in Carrollton, nothing but a sign on the wall that talks about the Morgan's Raid coming through. And it's really sad. There's no history captured there. So when the team goes in and we're able to create a story, the museum will have these relics, and then the Historical Society can get those grants they need from the state, because they have the proof of the skirmishes happening out there, what really happened, where did they travel through this particular area, and it will allow them to get markers put in. They are so excited that they're having a celebration the day the crew is there. It's amazing. It's really amazing that we're able to do this for them.
Well, it's a story that nobody knows, and
right.
When you get in there, and a lot of us hunters, we kind of put story together as like when I go into camps, and a lot of other guys, you can pretty much put together what happened, what direction they came from, what were they doing, and
right.
And it would give that town a wake-up call, not to mention kind of put it a little more on the map, so to speak.
Right. I mean, it's like the Gettysburg of Ohio. I mean, there's a lot of people that travel right through the state to get to Pennsylvania. They may not even be aware that there's Civil War history right in the state. So it's kind of like to get the word out, nationally, which it seems to be going national pretty well. It's just like wildfire. It took off, and it's a great thing. I've got a lot of people involved. We're getting sponsors coming in. There's, even England is involved. There's a magazine up there called the Searcher Magazine, which we are having Danny Coggy, which is Mr. Crabinet. He's coming down to do a story for that magazine on this dig. It's just amazing how far this is going to go.
And like you mentioned, this is a large area. I mean,
it is.
You can't come at a battleship with a bottle of nail polish and expect to get the job done. Yeah,
no,
so
I mean, they
need
traveled,
a support group.
They traveled all the way. I mean, Sparta, all the way up through Kentucky, through Indiana, Ohio.
Right.
And a lot of that terrain, especially in Kentucky there, and in the bottom east of Ohio, that terrain is, it's challenging.
That's
it is.
Right.
We've got fields, we've got woods, some water. You name it, it's out there. And I knew that I was going to need a really good land guy or lead to take this on. And I have seen some of Jeff Fisher's work, and I was very impressed with it. When we did the project in Door, he had things sitting out that he did at a prior digs and things, and I was just like, jaw dropped. Wow. I was like, how did you do that? That is awesome. Exactly what I wanted to bring into this. So I absolutely invited Jeff to take the lead on the land.
Good,
Right.
great. Yeah, not the post. I mean, you guys have been really busy. It's going to be a big weekend. Josh called me and said, you may have to come out of the mountains because I dig ginseng. I'm digging ginseng in September, October, November, and I said, that's all right. I don't mind. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Let's see if we can get up there and preserve some of this history.
Right. I had
it.
mentioned to Kenny, I'm like, hey, I know it's ginseng time of the year, but what would you say if I drug you out of the mountains to recover Civil War history? And almost immediately, I got a message back going, dig it all, baby.
That's right. That's right.
That's good. It's never been searched back here in these areas, and what's in the back of my mind is what I just keep remembering, reading in several different books that there were 384 Confederates on this site, and only 150 weapons were confiscated. There's no word about they took them with them or what happened to them. And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, we could really find weapons here. We could find anything that they looted from all of the homes, because this was, they knew that they were going to get caught here. They knew it. They're not going to get caught with this stuff. They needed to stash it. So, in the back of your mind, you're like, wow, I wonder what could be out there,
Wow. And this raid, it was over a month long, like a month and a week, in 1863. So there's going to be a lot of stuff out there, everything from buckles to breastplates to buttons to officer pendants. You just don't know what's there. So that's what's going to be fun about it.
Absolutely.
I'll inject something here. I guess when Morgan was arrested finally, he was trying to make a deal whether he could go free into West Virginia if the condition was his men could take their sidearms. So we know they had sidearms. And we also know that during the battle they were running low on ammunition. So it makes perfect sense that if you can't shoot a handgun, you throw a handgun. And there's a possibility that there's a few there on the site, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what could be found there. There was stories of carbine rifles being found 2 weeks after the battle in apple orchards, and so that's a real beehive of a hill over there. So hopefully we'll zero in on this thing and see if we can actually see how big this skirmish site was. And I would like to actually turn it into a battlefield, not a skirmish site.
Right.
Well, you'll be able to tell that too, because when you get out there, I don't know if you guys have planned on putting your markers out, especially for the bullets. And you want blue, or of course for Union, and red for Confederate, and you put those little flags in where you're digging these bullets. And give you a perspective of where the strongholds were and which direction they were firing at.
Right.
Yeah, that's a little bit what I've been doing with the map work. I have topography, I have an aerial view, I have an 1874 map that I can reference off of. We gridded it down to half-mile and quarter-mile plots. We've got it in numerical order, so we should be able to send people out, and we should be able to keep a pretty decent track of where they're at. And all this information will be recorded in 2 books. So all the artifacts will receive a number, and then we'll be able to go back later, and we'll be able to place pins on a map and actually blow this up into something where everyone can see it, and you'll be able to clearly see a line of fight, I should say.
Right.
And I must say that everyone has been working very hard, very diligently on things, and Jeff has done an absolutely wonderful job with his map work and project sheets.
I will agree. We were talking about flags, but, we have 2 days to do this. So, Jeff, we're recording it right there. We'll know exactly where it was. We do have the plots. It if we had a week or two to do this, the flags would be perfect. But we just don't have that kind of time, you know? I mean, Jeff has an excellent plan for it. It's great.
Dig it, log it, and move on to the next one.
Right.
I struggle a little bit with, you know, at first I was contemplating whether I was going to be out there recording everything, and I kept thinking, how am I going to do 80 people? And then we started thinking about getting help. And then I originally thought maybe everyone's going to have to record their own stuff. Then I thought that's going to be a burden. So we kept streamlining, and I think we got it where every digger will be able to swing their tools.
Yeah.
So.
It's, which, you know, it's a project, so it's a plan in the works. Ideas come up, they get tweaked, they get streamlined, they get changed. But really, considering the circumstances, I would say, in my opinion, that things are going along very, very well.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Absolutely.
And
one thing.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I was just going to say it's a little like planning a wedding or something. If something goes haywire that day, no one's going to find out. We're going to fix it behind the scenes, and everything's going to flow on smooth.
Well, it's something else too. A lot of us hunters, especially the ones on YouTube, like myself, I've got a head mount camera. I have a chest mount camera. I have all my detectors have cameras from different angles and views and stuff. So it gives perspective of the whole hunt, so you can tell the story behind it, because you want your facts. Facts is critical, especially in this situation. So. You know, that may help out, because you can always just download those and send them right to you. So.
Oh yeah, and there will be people shooting video. There's going to be all sorts of video, all sorts of photos. This is really an opportunity, not only to do a great community service, but to also help add information to the history books, quite possibly. Yeah,
one thing I want to add with photos and recordings for anybody that's going to be doing them out there, I don't mind, taking pictures of each other and posting that. The biggest thing that I'm worried about right away before this is, done and over with and everybody's gone home is I'd rather not have relics posted yet, or, road names, homes, cars, things like that. Privacy of the landowners, and we want to kind of keep the relics kind of a surprise until the very last day, if that makes any sense.
Right. And this is a good point. Maybe this is a good opportunity to explain to some of the listeners the reason why things have been kept so quiet so far up to this point is because we're trying to not only protect and preserve the landowner's privacy, but the privacy of the actual location as well, to protect that land. And I'm sure that you've already probably been addressed with questions as to say, what were the deciding factors? How were people selected for this dig team? Why is everyone not invited? Yada yada, so on and so forth.
Oh, there's a lot of good detectors out there. There's a lot. I know a lot of them. But trying to get everybody at the site would be overload. It really would. And mainly it was, people that I personally knew who it started to suggest other people. I didn't sit and go, okay, well, I like that person, I like that person. It had nothing to do with that, their passion for history, their interest in Civil War. It's just people that knew people. And actually, while I was doing the footwork, other people were contacting other people and then sending me, hey, they would like to come too. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember her, or I remember him. Yep, absolutely, we got room. So it was more like a crew-initiated invite. It just kind of blew up into that, and we are topped off. People do message me. Like I had a couple that they couldn't make it, So I extended that offer out to ones that, were still kind of on a waiting list, I guess. I just was worried about having too many people and too many detectors, if that makes any sense. I didn't want to be overwhelmed on the field as far as, areas and room to roam and things like that. So it's kind of a group initiation for other groups.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And some people may have seen the post being spread around on Facebook of a GoFundMe project that is also connected with the CWPPO.
Right.
Would you like to explain anything about that at this point, or is that something you'd like to hold off on?
Oh, I can explain it. I started the GoFundMe because the CWPPO is going to continue. After this project, it's not over. There are several other sites in this area that I would actually like to have a yearly dig. Spend a year, spend some more time researching, doing the research on the area, because right now we're hustling, and we started this maybe in August, I believe. Yeah, it was beginning of August, and here it is September, and there's still so much to do, and October's coming up pretty quick.
Right,
So
you have literally
early.
kind of hit the ground running, trying to
yeah, it just kind of all happened at
everything.
once. Absolutely, it just happened all at once, and the excitement from everybody is like, well, I really should do this now. I need to get people in here and make it a large project for everybody, because I can't do it by myself, and I know just 20 people isn't going to cover everything in 2 weeks or 2 days. But there are other areas, like I said. We were already invited, for another group over in, the Wellsville area, which that actually has there's no battle or anything there, but there is a museum. They were offering, the crew to go over there, and they wanted to host us. It just wasn't going to work this time because they're so far away. But that could be next year. We could do, Buffington Island. We may go back towards the Westway and follow the trail that way. We were invited into Jefferson County. We have so much here that this could be a yearly event, and I would like to do that, which is why we started, why I wanted to start up the C.W.P.P.O fund and have the GoFundMe. Eventually there'll be a website where after each dig or project, it'll be loaded with photos, videos, information, everything like that will be on it. So that's in the works too.
Right. And obviously this is, in fact, to preserve the history for local historical societies. This isn't something where people are walking out here and digging these relics to keep them for themselves. This is a donation of time, a donation of experience, a group of individuals getting together to serve the common cause of a community service, to bring these items to light and have them put into a museum display. Right.
And the museum is so thrilled. Shirley at the museum is so thrilled to have things in there from Morgan's raid. I mean, it's a big story for Carroll County, and they don't have one single relic from that raid. And we're going to change that.
Oh, ain't no doubt about that, because it's about digging it. It's about, grooming it when you're done. But you know what? It's, for me, period. It's about taking that person's piece of belongings that belonged to his uniform or whatever, and he pulling it out of there and honoring them by showing it in that museum. That's just, I'm all about the preservation of it. That's like the only reason I do it. I don't never sell anything. I don't never do any of that. So, I mean, that's just great. And go back and visit it later on. 5, 10, 15 years down the road, and you go into a museum and you sit there and look, man, I remember when we dug that.
Right. Because like I said, this isn't about who's got the best machine, who's the better hunter. This is about preserving the history for everyone to enjoy in a display, which, if I remember right, am I correct in assuming that the Historical Society will basically have these items on display with recognition of the group of people who brought this to light?
Absolutely.
So in
yeah,
that
Jeff put
sense,
that in the plan
everyone
of-
plays a part.
Right. And you know, if you think about it, these raiders that came up here, you know, and they were out there on that battlefield, it's almost like us. We had different backgrounds. They used different tools for what they were doing. They had differences, but they still worked as a team towards a goal. And that's what we are. That's this whole crew. You know, we have to have that mindset of going out there and working together, you know, brother to brother, you know, and just get this job done and do our best.
Right. The focusing on the task at hand.
Absolutely.
Also, I see we have Leighton in the house, Past Pursuits, and Rips Relics. Shouts out to them.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show. All right.
And this will be proceeding in late October.
Right.
As I said, we have been trying to keep things somewhat quiet to protect landowners' privacy as well as the properties themselves. I'm sure you probably have some form of safeguard, we'll say, in place for people who would try to sneak in or nighthawk the areas, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to talk with the owners. I actually have dig permits, and the only time that anybody can go onto that property is if they have a dig permit that's within our group. That's going to be from the 24th to the 25th. Those are the only 2 days that anybody would be there with that dig permit. And if anybody comes in before or after we're gone, they don't have a dig permit to say, yeah, I'm with the crew. You know, they have to have something like that. Now, personally, myself, with, you know, a few others that wanted to join me, still have access in this area. Just every day, I'm just going to knock on the door, say, this is who's with me, and this is where we're going, so that they're aware. You know, we're still wanting to go out there and try to preserve anything else that we might find, and still do the same process and pick up where we left off on Sunday. And it's not going to be a 2 to 3 day dig like we're doing now. You know, it's just whenever I get the time to go out there.
Exactly.
I'll add.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that when we recover the artifacts, when we give them numbers and we pack them away, I do have somewhat of a built-in system, which I won't talk too much of.
Right.
That people can't just go there and dig artifacts and then turn around and try to sell them. It's not going to work.
Right.
Right.
Sell, you know, it's just, like I said, you can't claim that you found them there, you know, with what we're going to be doing there. And I'd like to take the time, and everything's going to get a label.
Right.
And then it'll be up to the Historical Society to do with that whatever they want. It's a pretty big, it's a big task, but it's something I'm looking forward to, and made me sweat a little bit trying to figure out if this is, you know, gonna come to its full fruit. So
Right, I'm sure there's been times along the path so far where things may even seem a little daunting at times.
Yes. And
Right,
I would figure too, with the property being around that long, that there have probably been, you know, I would say somebody looking around over the years. I would say basically it is unhunted. You know, there's always people over the years curious to walk around and see what they can find. But I think with the detectors we got today, the technology that we have, it's going to add a whole new dimension to what we're doing. And we got a lot of talented people out there. And
Right.
we'll make some pretty good finds. I am pretty sure of it.
There's
Yes,
no
I
doubt
believe
about
so.
it. And
Well, yeah.
you on the chat we have Utah Nichols has a question. His question is, will there be any funds or reparations going to the landowners for the use of their property? If so, those funds coming out of the GoFund account.
Yeah, I actually planned on trying to pay back time. You know, we're tying up their land for 2 days, well, 2.5 days, because I would like everybody to visit the site, you know, the night before, but that's a whole other story. I feel that it's the right thing to do. You know, they're allowing us to come in. I mean, they're farmers. You know, they have a lot of things that they have to do, and they're basically to a halt. You know, with the crew out there. So, I mean, I'm not sure what we'll be able to, to donate back to the landowners. It's kind of like whatever we have left in the fund, we'll kind of figure out what would be the best thing. And I think speaking with Virginia Glenn would probably, be a good one to talk to about that as far as, how we go about doing it and things like that. But I really, at the beginning of this, wanted to make sure that I did that.
Right. Also, another aspect, I guess I should say, of making sure that people who are authorized and as such, maybe that's not necessarily the best word, but those involved with the property and the project, they will also be wearing identifying shirts as well.
Right. We decided that the actual crew, everyone that's coming in to help out with the CWPPO, will be wearing gray shirts with our logo on the front and sponsors on the back. Any spectators or anything, if we're going to have shirts for sale prior to. All the other shirts, for helpers coming in, and like I said, spectators, they're going to be blue. Theirs are going to be a light blue, it'll be blue, and the crew will be gray. So we can kind of tell who's supposed to be out on that field and who's not supposed to be there. Now, we may have spectators, help out the crew as far as recording. If we don't have enough people to do the recording, Virginia has plenty of people that would be willing to help. But we're going to try to mark them somehow, either with in a bright orange felt band that you would just kind of tie, around their arms so that you can see that from a distance. That kind of keeps control of who's on that property and who's not supposed to be there, because we don't want the public and spectators to bleed out onto the private property and then onto the areas that we're keeping the relics. It's going to be kept with just the crew.
Right.
Yeah, because there's stuff in that ground, I'm telling you, since basically it hadn't been hunted. I mean, you got personal items. They may even end up being an item found that connects somebody's great grandfather to the family. I mean,
right.
Just different stuff like that, and you surely don't want it leaving the premises.
Absolutely not.
And there's, there will be, all just like going into any other hunt, all trash will be collected. There may even be some recycling going on to help promote the fund, or even help with the historical society, or however those funds are see fit to deal with. We've got a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Josh, it's Brandon. How are you?
Well, hello, sir. How is it going?
It's going well. It's good to talk to you and Sam and Jeff all at the same time. How are you two doing?
Hello.
All right.
I just said it. It actually came up as I was calling in. Leighton from Massachusetts just asked the same question. I was just about to call and ask you guys. He said, are the names going to also be tagged as the finder and donated into the museum? And my other follow-up to that was that there's going to be a lot of unidentifiable items. I pull brass out of fields and stuff like that. So if you find something like that, you bag it and tag it. Do you have professional experts that are going to be able to go through this stuff that might be able to put it in as a gun part or something that I wouldn't even know what it is?
Yeah, we're going to have several Civil War experts on the field. I mean, a lot of the crew that's going to be there do have a lot of experience with identifying the Civil War items. And I do have some people coming in that aren't going to be digging that specialize in identifying the Civil War items, any relics or anything. They've done it for 30 years, 40 years. They're veterans of it. But yeah, everything will be tagged the way that they claim that they are, and even some things that they may be iffy on, we're going to tag that too. Everything's going to be tagged, and the way that I explained it is even coins, because coins make a track too. It doesn't mean the Historical Society is going to say, yeah, we need that coin. We talked about that. You can't really link a coin to any historical thing at all. Anybody could have dropped that. So we're we're taking the item and reporting it anyway, just to have that trail, if that makes any sense.
Right.
It does.
And those
What
items,
about,
you know,
go ahead, Sam.
oh, it's okay. You can go ahead.
I was just saying, what about regular trash items? I mean, is that something that you guys are going to collect and recycle, or is it something that you want the individual diggers to take out of there? And, you know, like we always do, we keep trash buckets in the trunk of our car and stuff like that.
I actually need to make a call. I've been in touch with the local Boy Scouts. We thought that it would be kind of great to involve the troop leaders with Boy Scouts to go around them to the areas, you know, kind of get a little bit of experience working with these guys and gather the trash as well. And I'm trying to get a recycling bin as well as a trash bin set onto our central location to where we could just dump that right in and they can continue. And we can get as many troop leaders out there as we can and all the Boy Scouts. Maybe we can work out something where we can have them pins made. I mean, it's in the works.
And you know, along with that is, and all of us diggers know this, look at your items very closely. Make sure that your trash is not treasure, because it has happened many, many times. So you got.
Well, that's what I was talking about, Kenny. Is I wouldn't know the difference between a butt plate from a gun as opposed to a trigger lock or anything like that. Whereas we don't have Civil War activity up here in New Hampshire very much, but that's what I was saying. If there's questionable brass or copper items, is there somebody that can actually go through that stuff if you bag it and tag it that will actually look at it and say, oh my God, this is part of this and this is part of that?
Yes.
Right.
Which, to elaborate a little more on Leighton's side of the question, I believe the path that we're going right now is every item recovered will be bagged and tagged with that particular person's name of who recovered that item.
Right.
So that we know who recovered it. It's all put into a display at the Historical Society with recognition of the group that brought it there. But once the Historical Society reviews everything and gets what they feel they need for their display, those other items that were found by said particular person, they will have that opportunity to get those back.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Excellent. Well, you guys answered my question, and I appreciate that, and I look forward to meeting you guys in October.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
We'll see you, Swans.
Man,
I wanna
that's
add-
outstanding.
Go
I'd
ahead,
like to
Jeff.
add, in the about a mile's worth of searching area, we got about 20, possibly 25 log cabin sites sprinkled throughout that area too. So, you know, we're going to find a lot of dwellings,
Right.
Right.
items that belong to that as well. So, hopefully with the map work, if people start finding housewares and whatnot, we'll be able to peg a house to it or a log
Right.
cabin.
Leighton also asks if duplicate items will be returned to the finder. I believe that would probably depend on what the item is. I mean, say,
Yeah.
if there's two belt plates recovered, well, the Historical Society is going to quite possibly want both of those.
Yeah, we're
So
going to
it
leave that
probably
up to the
depends a lot
Historical
on what the
Society.
item is.
Right.
We've got to wait and see what the Historical Society deems that they need for their display, I guess.
Right. Right.
And I'm sure not to be Johnny Raincloud, so to speak, but we're already aware, and I'm sure you may already be dealing with this on your end, Sam, that there are going to be the naysayers out there. Why are you
Yeah.
doing this? Or you're doing this the wrong way. What are you doing in terms as far as preparation, a plan, maybe a prepared statement, anything like that to help and alleviate that? Because as we come closer to this,
Right.
realistically, people are going to come out of the woodwork.
And they have. They've trickled out just within the past four weeks. I have prepared something actually when I was getting, messages about why are you digging the battlefield site? That's wrong, and just several different things. And I actually made a statement on the Facebook page that's pinned at the top If you go onto the C.W.P.P.O website that we put together there, the Facebook, if you go to the pinned post, you will see my response. And if you'd like, you can print that out. If you get questioned or anybody else gets questioned, it's a perfect explanation of why we're doing this.
Yeah,
Right.
and my explanation is always, these are guys that have fallen here, hardships here, fought for
Right.
their part of the country at that time, and we're preserving it. Simple
That's
as
right.
that.
You're
If
right.
you got a problem with it, I
You're
can't
right.
help you out. You know, but it's about preserving the history, and if anybody can't get that, then you know, I don't.
Some
I don't know
people,
what to
there's
tell 'em.
just no helping.
You're right. I mean, it's just that's what it's all about. You know, we're helping this town. We're helping that history come back to life. These men need their story told. You know,
And you know,
they
when you-
really do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you pull up, let's say a buckle comes out with JP initialed in the back of it, for example.
Yeah.
Well, that piece right there is going to have a lot of research going on and on and on after it's out of the ground to figure
Right.
out who Mr. JP is. You know, when I pull something out of the ground, the most exciting part to me is that I actually did it. There it is. It's rescued. It's freed. It's not going to, you know, deteriorate away like a lot of our buttons are already
Right.
doing. The cup buttons
Exactly.
now, you know, 15, 20 years from now, there won't be any cup buttons. So, I mean, you get it out now. So what? It don't go in your case. If you came up here for that, you should have just stayed at home.
Right.
This
Chalk
is for this
one up
town.
for the books. This one has been recovered and brought to light.
Right.
On to the next one.
Right. And I had posted that too. If there was anybody on the crew that had any question that, you know, if there's, you want to scrutinize, you want to question, and not just be part of the team, I would gladly replace that digger. I mean, it's sad to say, but we have to stick together. I mean, I don't want anybody to leave the crew. I think we got a very good crew. I think we're going at it the right way. And every once in a while, I will get something just off the wall, and I have to make a call, or they call me. A lot of people were suggesting that these were planted finds. I'd say if I had them to plant, that'd be pretty nice, you know? But it's not. I mean, I was encouraged to do this so much from the Historical Society. They've been waiting for years for someone to come in and do this. She said the last time, it's been years since somebody came in and said, yeah, well, we're gonna do some relic recovery, and they started off in another area, further out another way, I believe, towards Burgholz, is what Virginia said. And by the time they just quit. They just got tired. And I don't think they had the manpower and the passion that we have, that whole crew has, to get this project complete. And that's why they're going to have a celebration when we arrive. It's amazing for them and amazing for us, and we're really doing a great thing here. We
Right,
really are.
because they were so close before, and then for whatever reason something fell through. So this is their second chance. We're able to help and pull this off, which there is a question in the chat. You know, it isn't like this is just a handful of us going in. What is the ballpark of the actual project crew right now?
If you include the Civil War experts, helpers that are going to be tagging things, us coming in, I want to say it was between 80 and 120. I wouldn't go beyond 120. Seriously, we have Civil War experts. We have people coming in. We have Jocelyn that's coming in for American Digger. She's doing a special article on us. I'm hoping for a special edition because it's going to be a pretty big thing to cover. You know, we have Danny coming down to cover the Searcher magazine from the Netherlands and from England. And there's a lot of support coming in, for different reasons. We have, Greg Shipley's coming in, with the GPR. He's a special type of person. We're going to use him out there in certain areas, as well as, Frank. There's several different expertise that people have. I'm sure they're all going to be wanting to swing a coil, which is fine. We can do that. But, it's about 120.
Right. So, for some people, this may seem like a large area to cover, but it's not like we're coming in trying to cover it with a, little paintbrush or something. The project crew is well armed and prepared for this project.
Well, and
we've
the
got
thing
Civil
is,
War experts. We've got people that are knowledgeable in preservation, identification, recovery techniques, and these are, in fact, very experienced, very passionate diggers.
I just believe that everybody knows that has been chosen for this. It's an honor to be chosen for this, because it's not every day you get to go and hunt a place that hasn't been touched, basically. For this town and this museum, I believe that everyone that's been chosen for a reason, and they don't have a problem turning in what they find and stuff like that, because there's some great. I've looked at a lot of people that's going to this, and they're all outstanding individuals, and this is going to work out. But you know what? You could take 400 people, and if you only got 2.5 days, you're going to leave more in that ground than you took out.
So absolutely.
Make your signals count.
And I see where it's been posted in the chat, which it's, no argument there. No matter how many people you have, you are going to miss things, because no place is ever completely hunted out. But what we're going to do is we're going to hit it. We're going to hit it hard. We're going to give it our best shot. And after everything's said and done, we know that we gave it our all. We did everything we could to maximize the amount of finds recovered in that time period, and it doesn't stop there. Because you can return to that. This is an ongoing process that will be added to.
Well, you know what? Something else, too. This place, to me, as others that I hunt, is sacred. And
it is.
It's when you set everybody in there, let's say we got 80, 90, 100, how many boots on the ground there. Don't forget the boots that were there before you. Have a moment of silence, man. Get in the zone and know why you're there.
That is the first thing we are going to do. That is the very first thing we're going to do. There were, according to the record, 20 to 30 men that lost their lives. And some of these guys were just kids. 16 and 17-year-old kids that traveled with him. It is a very, very sad situation. I mean, they all shed their blood here. And I do get emotional about it, but everybody should. You should feel that. We are definitely going to have a moment of silence on every piece of property when we get there.
Nice.
Right. This task at hand is something that demands a bit of respect and reverence for the task at hand. Because we're not trying to loot, we're not destroying artifacts, we're helping that story to continue.
Absolutely.
I mean, this was a 46-day adventure raid from Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia. I mean, they were over 40,000 Union troops. I mean, 6,000 prisoners paroled out of all of that. 2,000 prisoners taken on the Confederate side. They should be, after everything's said and done, a plaque there somewhere that says the Battle of Morgan's Raid or whatever. There got to be something there.
Let's see, and that's the reason why Jeff has put so much time into these maps and project sheets, in the hopes that the evidence, that the finds that are made, that are brought to light, will produce evidence that could in fact help to have historical markers placed in areas.
Right.
Yes, and I want to add too, we'll probably run into something where if you find something in the ground that's too big, leave it there and let somebody excavate it. If it's a rifle, it would be kind of nice to see what it looks like laying in the ground, get some pictures. Sometimes, in haste, we might try to lift it out and break it. So if we find something that needs a little extra help, we want to make sure we preserve everything we find.
Yeah, just, dig around it and brush it off so you can see what it is. Take some photos of it right there, and then, bring somebody else in that can pull it out
Yes.
Diligently, because you got brass versus wood, and it will not come out together.
I'm going to figure that there are going to be a lot of bullets. A lot.
Yes.
So if that's the number one thing we find, that's all right with me. There was
It
a
still
story.
documents activity.
Yeah, there was a story of a 15-year-old boy that Sunday morning. He was out in the barn, and he heard gunfire, and he wondered to himself, surely that's not Morgan's Raiders. So he went to go look, and as he walked up to the hill, he leaned against the fence, and he seen men fighting down below. He said it wasn't just a volley, it was a constant roar.
Right.
So that was a constant gunfire. It wasn't just periodic.
Right.
And you're also looking at 1863, so you're just coming out of the possibly 69 calibers in there. They were more 61, 62, but there's going to be a lot of lead in that ground.
Right. And, that could be the primary target recovered, but it all is going to help tell the story.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well.
And that's the important part here. Like I said, it's not who's got the best machine, who's the better hunter. It's just preserving this history, as Leighton mentioned in the chat. A moment of silence is long overdue for these people. Let's tell their story. I think would be pretty much the best way to put that.
Right.
And it certainly sounds like you have done all that you can up to this point to make sure all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, your ducks are in a row, addressing issues as they come up, overcoming hurdles as they arise.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is very taxing on you. But it is. It's for a great cause and very commendable.
Thank you.
Indeed.
I will add to the crew, anybody that's listening, or anybody would like to tell other crew, if there are any questions, please get a hold of me. I'm never too busy to have a one-on-one conversation with anybody on the crew. If there's questions about something, or if there's rumors flying around, please contact me. It's very important to me. Communication is the key to keep everybody on the same page.
Exactly. You've got to keep everyone on the same page, and for those involved, this is serious business. We're on a mission.
It is. We are.
Now,
we are.
I do have one question here that I was waiting to see if anybody else would ask this question. When you go into a place like this, you have just about everywhere. I mean, look at all of us. Look where we're from, all over the country. And I'm sure there's metal detectors that live in that town as well. So, I was just curious was they a few locals selected maybe to participate in that hunt? So we, kind of balance things out. Just curiosity.
We actually talked to a neighbor of the property we had originally gotten the first time, and because there was some word about a relic that was found in a ravine or near some water somewhere, and she actually told me that the gentleman that lived there, his name is Brad Ketchum, he's lived there, I believe, his whole life. He actually does metal detect, and his uncle owns property that's adjoining our permission site, and he actually was able to give us a little bit of idea of how the land was laid out, what to watch for. He's been very helpful. He is on the big crew. He's been a great help.
Good,
We're also, trying to contact local people. There's not too many that I know. I know Josh Kimmel had brought up a couple that we're trying to bring on with those spots being held for them. But the Historical Society, Virginia Glen, she may know other people too. I'm not aware of any right now, But we are meeting with her tomorrow, and I will ask her again if there's anyone else interested that does swing a coil that would be beneficial.
Absolutely.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Well, Morgan's raid is going to be, got some more weeks to go, but it looks like it's going to turn into Sam's raid.
Yeah, I was going to say Morgan's raid is about to be raided by diggers, but for the right reasons.
Right. You're right. And I'm going to try to, attempt to get as much of the raid that we can, to try to bring that history to life and maybe help some other towns. So that's further down the road, and we'll have more time to plan for those. And I think everybody's really been a great help. I mean, there's people out there from the crew that, hey, I'm bringing this and I'm bringing this, or I'm doing a fundraiser. I mean, it's great. It's so great to have that, and it eases up some of my time, to focus on other things, like meeting with county commissioners and trying to get the group teams together, which I'm working on. I'm almost done with that. I know everybody's been asking, and people are either like, well, can we see a whole list of, the whole roster? And I'd like to, I just want to do the team groups and then post them on that page, and then at that time add whoever's not on that page, because it's just kind of hard to keep up right now with everybody. But then everybody will get an idea of who's where and who's attending.
Right. And like you mentioned, there are people working to try and do fundraisers on the side. You've got auctions going on the Backyard Diggers Facebook group.
Right.
There are some other fundraisers in action. Maybe even the potential of some fundraising dinners or whatever in the area, as well as the C.W.P.P.O. GoFundMe.
Right. We've got it out there every way that we can think of right now. We do have Chris Quinn actually is putting on a benefit to help out, to raise funds for this project. I'm planning one too at the beginning of October sometime. We're trying to gather one to get one together down here. And anybody can do that. I do have a sponsor letter if anybody wants a copy of that and you want to go to local stores, local people, local organizations. Message me on Facebook and I'll send that to you.
There you go.
This turns out to be, and I really do believe that this is going to be a very successful project. Not only for obviously the first goal here is to preserve the history. The second goal is this town is going to benefit from this, and you're going to have more towns, because if you look at the trail, that this 46-day trail, I call it, there's amazing. There's town after town after town. There's camps.
Oh yeah.
You can go on and on and on.
I mean, their intent was to disrupt, basically. There were bridges burnt. There were railway depots that were disrupted. Anything, basically, to confuse and disrupt.
Right, and that's why I want to keep this C.W.P.P. open for years to come. There's so much land to cover, and I know that after one town, we can go to another. We can just follow that trail, clear back west to where it started in Ohio. That's my goal. That's my ultimate goal.
Right, because, if this hunt is a success, it gets talked about, it'll be on the news, it'll be on the papers, it'll be here and there.
Right.
People's going to hear about it everywhere. Then the next town is going, man, look what they did. We're in.
Right. We'll get more help. We'll get, better funding, better attention, and national recognition for the crew, for doing something so great for the town. That we'll be contacted. Hey, I have some area here. I know that this happened here. Can you come and help? I mean, that spreads a great message. It really does.
Yeah, Swansea in the chat was asking if there's advertising available for a potential sponsor.
I do. Well, I do have the sponsor letter. If that's what he was asking for, I can actually send him a copy of that. It has, my contact information, my phone number, or
actually, he already has it.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
How's that for service? Man, we're on our toes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Man, you can't get much quicker than that. Woo!
Yeah, we're rolling. I mean, it's really taken off, and we're just trying to take this as it comes, and one little problem, we got to fix it right away. Even if it's an upset crew member, it might spread. We gotta get people on the same page. We really do, and that's my goal, to keep everybody in, open door communication. Please message me or call me. I don't care either way. I'm always making time for that.
Everybody just needs to understand why they're there. If you do your job and you know your role, it should go smooth. I mean, just know why you're there. You're not there to do anything but preserve this history for this museum. That's it. That's the goal.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
It's not for profit. It's not for personal gain.
Not at all.
It's for the history, the chance to tell that story and help it continue, and the experience of actually being able to know that those people involved did play a part.
Right.
Well, yes. Yeah, that's, and if there's names listed, great. If there's not, you know who you are. But the thing about it is, when you sit back, you see something on TV about it, maybe, it's going to happen. I mean, it's like Jeff was saying earlier, if you get a piece of land all of a sudden named the Battlefield Commission takes over, and then there's plaques put up. I mean, that is huge. And you sit back and say, man, I mean, as a preserver of history, it doesn't get any better than that.
That's right.
That is your display case. There's my display case. It's on TV right now.
Exactly. You can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You certainly cannot. I guess with that in mind, Sam, would you like to let people know where they can find you, or maybe what we got going on here? We have a call coming in. Go ahead, caller. Hello,
Josh,
caller.
how are you? It's Greg Stryker.
All right.
Hello.
How you doing tonight, buddy?
All right.
Sam, how are you?
Good.
Good. No, I was just checking. Could you give us the address where where you need to help with the GoFundMe, because it's not under the CWLPP.
No, it's C.W.P.P.O.
Right, but it's not under that. The C.W.P.P.O. I typed that in like twice. A bunch of other people on chat have, and nothing's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, I was able to. Actually, it's on Josh Kimmel's page. It's on Utah Nicholas's page. It's on my Backyard Diggers page.
And
we kind of shared it.
For those members of the Beyond Sight and Sound Facebook group, I do believe it's a pinned post there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, I went right to the site and typed in CWPPO, and nothing came up. So that's why I was
It did It did. Well, I don't know. It did display GoFundMe /CWPPO as I was on the site. So I'm not sure why you weren't able to find that. Did you actually type that into the address bar? GoFundMe /CWPPO?
Well, yeah, it says search by name or zip code, and I typed in CWPPO, and nothing came up.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to try to pull that up right now on my
computer. If we've got a listener that's on Facebook right now, maybe they can pull that link from Beyond Sight and Sound or somewhere like that and post it in the live chat for us.
Yeah, because I just want to make sure everything's working okay, because
there it is.
Like I said, I mean, I'm not the greatest typer in the world, but I did it like twice, and I'm like, why isn't this coming up? So
it just showed up in the live chat. Grandma Tam got us covered.
Okay, let me...
So kudos out to her. She's on the ball.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I'm not finding it either.
Yeah,
okay,
when you type it in that way, it doesn't come up.
That's really odd. Okay.
Well, it's good that this information comes to light, though.
Absolutely, because the links are working fine.
Right.
But if you type it in the search, it doesn't come up.
Okay.
So that's weird.
Well, it is www.gofundme.com /
Yeah, it didn't come up at all.
CWPPO.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
well, no, I just
I'm-
wanted to make you aware, but, because I don't want you losing any,
Thank you.
donations or anything like that. So when I get it 3 or 4 times, I'm like, okay, I just want to
Right.
make sure I got the address correct. So.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
Which-
gonna go on here and check real quick. I'll keep quiet.
Which, once again, for the listeners, that's www.gofundme.com/CWPPO.
All right, buddy. Not a problem. Good show as always.
All right. Thanks for the call.
man.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so Sam, would you or Jeff like to let people know where to find you? Maybe Backyard Diggers, maybe YouTube channels, anything like that?
Yes, go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna check this real quick.
Okay. Well, you can find me on YouTube at Treasure, and you can also find me on Facebook at Jeff Fisher.
Okay, and
I
that
also
was
have a-
Treasure
I also-
Facts, all one word, right?
All one word, correct.
Okay.
I hadn't been putting videos on lately. I've been busy, and
Well, you've been a little busy.
I figure on this fall.
Right.
Actually, if anyone's listening and want to subscribe, go ahead and do that, because I think my friends surpassed me by far.
I think
hovering
I'm
at
already on
500.
there, Jeff. I think I've already subscribed to you, I think.
All right.
Right.
Yep.
And Sam?
Okay, yeah,
It's
I'm
interesting.
on. Go ahead.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on Backyard Diggers, and Backyard is actually one word, capital B, capital Y, and then Diggers, which is a capital D. I'm also on Facebook as under Sam Waters. I do have a website. It's just my personal website with all of my metal detecting and stuff. There's also another project that I had done with Jeff himself and some other crew that's on there as well. That's backyarddiggers.jimdo, which is JIM as in Mary, DO.com. I was actually able to type CWPPO, but it's all lowercase.
Okay.
The uppercase did not show up.
But
so if you
lowercase will.
Right, I just typed it in and it did come up. So
Okay,
if you,
so there you go, listeners. It is
That's what
searchable under lowercase CWPPO on GoFundMe.
Man, you know what? This is like a, you're not going to get to do this for it. For some of us, this may be a once in a lifetime, hopefully, that get to do more of these kind of projects. But this project here, Josh, you know me.
That's right.
I'm all about preserving the history. It doesn't matter what case it goes in.
That's right.
right.
It's about pulling it out of the ground.
And Sam she knew before and has been told she has the full support of Beyond Sight and Sound, whatever we can do to help.
I do appreciate it. You guys have really pulled together to help, this project that I thought of it, just briefly 4 years ago, and then 4 to 6 months ago, I'm like, I feel like I'm being pulled back there. I need to go back and do something. Something just needs to be done, and this is it. We're doing it. This is what needed to be done.
That's right.
You're kind of doing what they did, way back when they were just leaving the bodies laying around, and a group of people got together. A lot of women got together and went around with horse and carts, and they actually move the bodies so they wouldn't be disrespected and put them in the ground. And it kind of goes along as the years go by, just doing something else for that horrible war that had to happen.
That's
And,
right.
It just keeps on paying it forward.
Right. Well, we certainly appreciate you two for taking the time to sit down and discuss this a little bit. And for those that follow Utah's Family Campfire, I believe you two will be appearing on there tomorrow night.
Yep, sure will.
Hang in there with me for everyone else. Next week, we've got the gang from Dirt Fishing America.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Dr. Tones, Pickhead, Diggler. Should be an interesting show for sure. And for everyone else, if you enjoyed the show, thanks for dropping in. Give it a like, throw it some stars, send me a comment. If you'd like to be a guest or there's a topic you'd like to hear covered, reach out to me. I'm not hard to find.
Absolutely.
I think that pretty much does it for us tonight, though. Do you have anything to add, Kenny?
Dig it all, baby.
All right. For everyone else, thanks for tuning in. It's a serious project, serious business. It's all about respect, preservation, and most importantly, remembrance and a chance to help that story continue.
Absolutely.
We'll see you all next week, folks. Thanks for dropping in, everyone.